Just sit right down, let's have chat. Talk about where your head is at. There's no judgment here in Wifey'S mental care. Just sit right down, let's have chat. Talk about where your head is at. There's no judgment here in Wifey'S mental care.
All right.
All right, guys. We're doing something a little different today. Welcome to the wifey therapy session.
Yay!
Right? We wanted to let you guys get to know us a little bit in a atmosphere that's a lot more relaxed. So we're gonna do something different. We're gonna play a single player game together, and we're just gonna, see who designs the house cuter, and we'll leave that up to you guys. And probably not. I have no sense of style.
I can't make up my mind, and I can't make decisions properly, so
that's fair. I have that issue. Yeah, so welcome to the couch, and there is no love book here for me to burn, so
so our main topic today that we're going to focus on,
I think we decided we were going to do a little bit of mental health stuff, and
we've been having a moment.
Relationship conversations, I guess, would
that's
be the
best way
to describe it. And please don't hold us to that, because we are very much so two people that
we need that chill sort of vibe right now.
100%.
And we've had our plenty of our wifey therapy sessions the past couple of weeks. But bring it over here to everybody, because I don't know, it's a little scary.
It is, but I mean, you guys spend your time with us. The least we can do is actually let you guys get to know us.
Yeah,
in a different realm.
It's kind of I see this as how I talk on the podcast kind of thing of it's scary to then be hey, this is all the shit that has happened. This is how I feel as a person, because you never know. Hey, this could be a thing that goes viral, right? And people are oh, your opinion is shit.
Right.
And that kind of thing is a little bit scary, because it's not what you want to hear, is anybody shitting on anything, especially when it's how you feel. So that part is a bit scarier, but that's also comes with myself and being not afraid to be judged, but to look like an idiot. And
the embarrassment, the ridicule isn't really what the issue is. It's I think it's more so the actual risk of talking and letting people in, and in a different atmosphere, and then having that kind of backfire in your face. I think that's where the fear really comes from.
Exactly.
Ooh, I can hear the cockroaches.
That's gross. Definitely, I don't know. It's a very weird thing, because I don't mind talking about things, but I
very selective.
I just don't want to sound stupid and someone be hey, how you feel is stupid. That's kind of where it's I don't want to feel like that. And I don't think anybody wants to feel how they feel is stupid, which is why I always say to people anytime, I don't care what anyone says, even if it's not that it's stupid, but even if it's a small little thing that might seem stupid, it's still not stupid, it's your thing. Feel however the fuck you want, because I know I can be a dramatic ass bitch. I can say some stupid stuff. I can feel stupid things. It's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah.
So can't judge anybody for the things that you do too. That you could tell them maybe, hey, this isn't healthy, but to judge them for it, you can't say that shit. You do it too.
Right. It's just life is life, which is a really cliche thing to say. But God, this house is fucking trash.
Dude, it is so bad.
This house is gross.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
literally
rough.
selling everything.
Yeah, I the first thing I did was sell everything, and then now I'm cleaning up everything. 'Cause holy ugly. Hey, don't judge a book by its cover, because we're gonna make it pretty.
Right. But so we've had the life of Pengu has been very I don't even know how to describe it. That's where I'm at. It's been
Yeah.
we'll just say that. Like, and that's not to say like life's supposed to be all sunshines and rainbows either, like, unfortunately. But it just kind of sucks because you get into your feels about a certain kind of thing, and then like the feels don't let you not feel.
Yeah.
And that's really where things really suck. Especially in the avenue of someone like me who has a hard time finding a sense of peace and happiness and like light in the darkness. So, I mean, like, that's kind of where I'm at, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm so apathetic that I actually despise being this apathetic. But I don't really feel like there's any other choice I have at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, like it does. It's just such a, to me, you know, I was telling you this before, but it is so hard for me when I have a friend that is feeling a certain way, and you know what that way is, but you know that, like, in a specific department, right? Like in a love department, and you, not like family friend love, but you know, love relationship love. Yeah. I literally can't do anything about that, you know? Like, for you, I would love to, but I literally couldn't do it if I tried. Same for you. You couldn't force anything to me, because then, you know, that's not gonna be a good thing. So it's kind of hard to, like, because as a friend, you want them to have that. You want them to have what they want, what could make them happy. But like, because you know you can't technically do anything about that. But like, you want it for them so bad. So that's where, like, you know, we've been talking this week, and I just would love to
fix it, make it go away.
Yeah. Right? Like, it's hard when you know you can't. And, you know, that's where it's like, when we talk and stuff, I want to do all these, you know, say all these good things, but everyone's heard them before, you know? Like, of course someone's going to say that to you. Like,
right, because most people, this is why, and it's because most people feel super awkward. They don't know how to handle that situation. And so, like, they try to do the Band-Aid fix. But that's all it is it's a Band-Aid fix.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change anything. It's not going to do anything other than temporarily help a situation. But how much is that temporary help going to actually help?
Yeah.
And exactly. So it's a rock and a hard place. And like, for me in particular, someone who has been dealing with that kind of, as I like to call it, rabbit hole or darkness, for far too long in their life, it's like, it kind of sucks on my end too, because like, that whole feeling, and I know we've talked about this in the past, that whole feeling of like, oh yeah, people tell you like you're awesome and you're great and this, that, and the other, but it's not actually enough. And to have that feeling as a consistent, like, almost burden.
Yeah.
It hits you differently as you go through life, because you know, you've done things to try to like sidestep those. And you can't.
Yeah.
And so at one point, do you just sit there and decide, well, you know, I've been in survival mode my whole life. Like, I'm just done. Not saying like you're gonna do something drastic, right? I'm not saying like that, but like you're just done. Like how much can a person take?
Yeah, and that's why that's exactly why, like, you know, when you're talking to me about it, I can tell you all these things of like, you know, don't give up, don't do this, like keep doing this, and at the same time I don't want to be hypocritical, because look, if like I understand what you're saying completely, and I think that's why I'm like, I don't want to be a hypocrite of like, someone can say that to me, but it's like I know it's not going to change anything. I know it's not going to change how I feel, and I mean, as a friend, never want you to give up on those things, of course, but I can't say that I don't get it, and I can't say that like, because everything that people feel is like, it's understandable in your own way, but in your case, I like get it too, which makes it kind of worse of like, I'm not going to give you this like bullshit advice kind of thing.
This,
and it's hard
to quote a certain song, this cliche motivation.
Yeah, like, because I know, like, I understand it, like, and everything that you're saying, it's like, I get it too, which obviously we have an age gap, so you've lived more, so I can imagine, you know, like, since I've felt those same things, I can imagine that the feeling would only feel so much worse. So that's kind of why, like, I get it, and I can only say so much of until I'm becoming like a hypocrite in a way. Not that I am, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Mean,
like,
I do know what you're saying. I don't think it's like hypocritical. I just think like after you say something so many times to someone who's probably heard it 1,001 times, at what point is it now you're not being hypocritical, but it's just, who are you trying to convince at that point? Are you trying to convince the person, or are you trying to convince yourself that this is what's going on? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So and I think it's being on the opposite side of it, where you're trying to be there for somebody who obviously, you know, you care about, you want to do everything you can to make them feel better, and show them that, you know, it's not what you think it is. Like, eventually it's just that. It's just words, and words don't mean anything after a certain point.
Yeah. That's where that sort of thing gets hard, because obviously it's not going to tell you, I'm never going to tell you to give up on anything. Like, I won't, because I know that, like, you would want to give up on those things. Because when something happens so much, it's like, why the fuck wouldn't you give up, you know? Like, I always say to people, if 99% of the people in my life that I've had, I know people can say, oh, they were shit people, whatever. 99% of the people that I have in my entire life have left me or put me down and told me why I wasn't a good person, why I wasn't this, why I did this, all of that stuff. I'm gonna start to believe them at some point, because why wouldn't you? It's 99% of the people in your life making you feel a certain way. I've had one person, which would be Mackenzie, which is my best friend, and she is the only one that stuck by me, just in general. She's the only one that showed me what it was like to have a friend, all of this stuff. So it's like, yes, I appreciate that 1%, like you wouldn't even imagine. But at a certain point, you're kind of like, you know, you believe the other people if it's such a high percentage. And that's my problem with relationships right now. I knew it was gonna be a problem after how bad like the last one shit on me.
Yeah.
And what he did and how he did it was different, because I was finally being convinced that it was different this time around. And I think that's where it got me the worst is because I was being convinced of something my brain, or I was being convinced of the opposite of what my brain already thought. And that's hard to do when you're already thinking the way that you do. And that's why that last one fucked me up so bad, because I actually thought, hey, maybe. And that's like the worst thing, is when you actually think, hey, maybe, and then you get shit on. Because then you feel stupid too. You're like, I actually fucking thought, what an idiot. Like, you know, everybody's been like this in my life. Why would you ever think that? All that sort of thing. And I am at a point now of like, relationship wise, obviously I understand breakups, and when you break up with people, obviously your percentage is going to be low if you're still single, because you're still single. But things that were said, things that were done, how I was made to feel in those relationships, it's now led me to a point right now of, what do I believe? Like, how do I believe somebody again?
Oh, 100%.
Because, I mean, I was right there. Like, you know, Pengu was there with the last one, and I mean, I was so ready to actually start believing a guy. I got so used to last year. I said to everybody, like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna accept the fact that, like, I'm not the girl that somebody is going to want. I'm not the girl that somebody is going to love like I love.
Which
like
kills
it's just
me as a person, because like I've got you by what? How many years?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. And I felt that way my whole life. And it kills me, because you're such a beautiful soul. And I'm not saying that like my soul isn't beautiful in its own regards or whatever, but you're so young. You have such a fire in your heart for things that you're passionate about. And for me, it kills me to hear you say that you're never going to be that girl.
Yeah.
Because in all actuality, you really are that girl. But because life has shit on you and people have constantly told you that you're not worth it, you're not going to amount to it, you know, like X, Y, and Z, insert reasons here. Like, you now have this mentality of, well, it ain't never going to happen for me, so why should I even care?
Yeah.
And I was at the tail end of the one before the last one, if you remember. So like, that's when I came into the picture, and like we started being friends, and I kind of bullied you to come out of your shell. Shamelessly. I bullied her. It's fine. I'll admit it.
Hey, she got me out there for real though.
I'll admit it. It was that, but I also did that because I saw something in you that I knew you weren't seeing yourself. And I'm the type of person where if I see it, other people see it too. So now I'm going to try to help you see it. I'm not going to make you see it, because I can't make you see something that's not there.
Yeah.
But I can keep being that positive in your life that I didn't have in mine. And maybe I can make a difference that way. Kind of thing. And that equally sucks for me, because I am not that girl. I'm not the one that gets pined over, or like has to like sit there and really, oh, you know, there's this guy and that guy and this guy. Like, no, that's not, I've never been that girl. I've always been, like you said earlier, I've always been told I'm too much. I do this too much. I do that too much. Or case in point for not this last one, but the one before that, where, there's a part of your personality that I just don't click. But when I ask what part of it is, so I can make a judgment call for myself on if that's really like an issue and like do some soul searching, you're not going to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, who do you think you are, kind of thing. And I'm just so jaded these days. And like, it kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Kind of really sucks. I wish I didn't have such a, like, negative outlook, I guess, of like just being like worthy.
Yeah. That's like that's kind of the worst of it too, because the fact that, because it's a weird thing of, people always tell me, which it bugs me, but I get it, but it also bugs me when somebody tells me, you have to see that for yourself. And I'm like, look, get you 100%. I understand that. Right. 100%. That you have to see that in you. Like, I totally get it. But the thing is there are holes in you that, like, and not everybody's like this. There are so many people who actually, like, love being single, love having no friend. Like, there are people who enjoy that. I am not that person.
Nope.
I will never be that person. Like, my goal in life, my literal goal in life, is to be married and have children. That is my goal in life. So the fact that, like, people see me as, like, being dependent because of that dream, I'm like, it's not dependent. It is something I never had, for one. Yeah. I did not have parents that care. Well, okay, I don't want to say that, because my mom does care to a certain extent. She's just, she's difficult. But I didn't have a loving family.
You didn't have the way I look at it is you didn't have a good example.
No, I mean, my parents hate each other. Like, they never liked each other, which is a weird concept to think of, because I have a brother and then there was me. So it's like, fucking what? But they literally do not like each other. And in my family too, my uncles and aunts, always fighting, always screaming at each other, toxic as fuck. Like, that's all I've ever seen in my life. And I would see these parents of other kids happy. I would see, like, dumb as this sounds, but as I got older, my best friend with her boyfriend, and she would hear his voice and her, like, eyes would light up, and I just look at that and I'm like, God, I want that. And that's why with all these guys I've been with, yes, they are shit. God, I shouldn't have stayed with so many of them, but I hold on to a certain part of them that I did like, and it just sucks me in. And because once I get to, like, the love part, I love so hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard to get out of. And it's just such a, like, fucky situation of, like you were saying, we talked about this before we got in here, but feeling like too much, because people have made me feel like that. I've been told that, like, it's not my last one, the one before that, the one of 3.5 years, he would always tell me that I was dependent on him. And then, I asked him why, and he said, well, because when you're having a bad day, you want to see me. And I'm like,
how is that being dependent? That's me just wanting to be around somebody that I genuinely care about, that, literally makes me, what's the phrase you used earlier? Like, it's almost like a comfort blanket.
Yes,
we'll do that.
Absolutely.
It's almost like a security blanket. It's that person that you feel safe with. It's that person that you trust to turn to when you're feeling upset or overburdened or overwhelmed, or however you want to fucking put it. And like it's like home to an extent.
Especially when you don't feel like you want to be at yours, like that's your home.
Oh, 100%.
And that's why that shit, God, when he said that, because I see myself as my own person, obviously. Like, I absolutely do. I love my me time. I love to sit there and do my things, but I also love hard for people. So I'm going to want to check up on you. I'm going to want to spend time with you. I'm going to think about you. Like, it's just how I am. And he wasn't like that, obviously. I mean, he would tell me that, like, he couldn't love like I could love. He didn't see other females, like, when he saw other females, he could see them as more attractive. And I would explain to him, like, when I would tell him, I don't know, like a celebrity was more, like, he was more attractive than them, he's like, the fuck, now you're just, like, lying. I'm like, no, you are. Because if you are the person I feel that certain way about, you are everything. And I'm not just convincing myself that. That is how I see you. And he couldn't, he literally told me, I can't love like that. I can't see it like that. And that shit hurt, because it was that whole, you're dependent on me, because he didn't love like that. He doesn't get it. And the dependent on him was because he saw me as somebody who, like, wanted to be around him so much. And I'm like, I'm thinking, you know, like, what the fuck? What? You should want to see me too. Right? I don't understand. And when he said that, though, it got so in my head of, like, am I dependent on them, or do I just like to be around them? And it fucked with my head so much. And I felt like, I just felt like I needed to, like, do nothing at that point in that relationship, and, like, that would have made him happy. And I mean,
yeah, so
left them,
the one I was telling you about that's been trying to get back with me for like 3 years got angry when I told him I was moving or planning on moving.
It's crazy.
Which is right.
That's fucking nuts, man.
Like, he used to sit there and go, you say you miss me too much. I'm sorry that I miss my boyfriend. Because we were doing semi-long distance at the time. Like, it wasn't like a super far long distance. It wasn't like unplausible for me to, like, go up there or him to come down here. You know what I mean? Like, it was very much so workable. But there would be those nights where I'd be in my feels, in my head, and I would sit there and go, oh, you know, well, I miss you, like this, that, and the other, have a good night. And he'd be like, well, you say you miss me too much. Like, what does that even mean? Like, do you not want me to tell you when I, like, think about you and I want you to, you know, be around? Is that not something I should be telling you? Like, and now all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're like, oh yeah, like, I'm actually happy, this person actually, like, shows, like, seems really genuine, this, that, and the other, to all of a sudden you, like, rethink everything upon everything. And it's like, again, at a certain point you sit there and go, well, you know, I've heard this my whole life, so maybe, just maybe, there's a fucking point. And maybe I just, you know, shouldn't even try at that point, because you clearly don't appreciate the effort that's going into it. And I'm like you, it's I give 100% to any given situation, any type of relationship, really. It's 100%. It's all or nothing. For me, especially. And, like, I don't get people. I really don't.
Same. Like, right? It's like
backwards. I did.
Like you saying that he said something to you about, you know, you missing him too much. I had the fucking same shit where it was I would say to him, I thought it was weird. Now look, like we talked about, I guess I love a bit differently than people. I don't fucking know. It feels normal to me. But I would say to him, like, do you ever miss me? Because he would go away, he would go do things, and never once heard from that boy. And this was like 2 years into our relationship, by the way, that I finally decided that I'm a fucking idiot. Let's not talk about that. But I asked him that, and he was like, well, yeah, but like I also, like my time away. Fair enough, but I'm like, but when you go away for weeks at a time, do you ever miss me? And he told me no. And that shit, like, oof, man, when I said that too, I just felt that in my heart. Holy fuck. But he said that, and I kind of thought like maybe there's something wrong with me, of like, then why do I always miss you? Like, I don't understand why you don't. And that was a tough one, because I knew how much I cared. I mean, I'm 2 years into this relationship with this person, and I'm asking him if he ever misses me, and he fucking says no. Like, that's gonna sting. And that relationship, by the end of it, which is why the last guy I was with was like a fucking god. I mean, the one of 3 years, he made me feel, by the end of the relationship, first of all, completely drained. But when I tell you, I told myself, I convinced myself for months and believed it, that I was never, ever, ever gonna be the person that's cared about like that. And I was never, because I'm thinking, I'm with this guy for how long, and he can't care about me. The fuck am I gonna be with somebody and they're gonna care like that? And I convinced myself that, which is why the last guy I got so invested in, because he was the first guy in my life I thought wanted and cared about me for me. And he turned out a fucking dipshit. But like, that's why I held on to him for so long, because I was like, man, that was nice to feel, even if it was for a minute. But that shit was nice to feel for even that second.
Right. 100%. And I'm right there with you, because like, I don't know, it's hard to verbalize a lot too about what plays in your head. And I know you know this, and you go through it too, because you sit there and then you start questioning what's in your head. And going, am I really like making a big deal about this? Am I just not like seeing things clearly? Am I just picturing? Am I imagining it? Am I doing X, Y, and Z? Or am I what if?
Yeah.
And like, what sucks in those regards is that those what ifs all stack and stack and stack. And then the next thing you know, you're 100% lost in all of it. And like, how do you come back from that?
Yeah.
That poses a question to everybody else out there that's like actually listening, is how do you come back from that? Because can you tell me? Because that'd be great.
It is.
That would be fantastic. Because I have been lost for years trying to fix or find the path again. And every time I think I found a semblance of that path, something happens or somebody comes by and says the thing that I've been hearing since I was like a child. And all of a sudden I'm back in the overgrowth. So it's like, how do you legitimately come back from that? I would like to know. Because man, and I know you've heard me say it multiple times, is I feel like I've been in survival mode since I was a child. And I'm just so tired of surviving by like the skin of my teeth.
Yeah.
And then you realize, like, as the days go on, it's just easier to say I'm fine, I'm okay, don't worry about it, whatever other like way of saying that. It's just easier to say because you get to a point where you literally so wholeheartedly believe like nobody cares. Because you haven't seen anybody actually give a damn. And there are those few exceptions. Like, you would be one of them. Because I know you.
Yeah.
And
well, that was the thing with the 99% too. Just so you know, when I mentioned that it was like just Mackenzie, it's changed now that I've met all of you.
Yeah.
Like, I just mean like at the time when I was...
100%.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear it up for a second. I was like, oh wait, I forgot I didn't clarify that before. Yeah, I was like, just included. This was like a when I was meeting these people sort of thing. That's how I thought.
Right, but you know, things happen, and everybody's fucked up in the head, and you just have to find a way of who's worth the fuck up. And in my case, every time I be worth letting in, I get shown in some regards. And it's not that I don't want it. I would love to find someone on a non-platonic front that I could let in, that I could trust. The 1-2 times before that, your favorite person, from me, not from you. Hold on, let me... You know who I'm talking about?
My favorite like sarcastic favorite person?
Sarcastic favorite person.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Of mine. Sarcastic favorite person of mine. Okay. Yeah, because that distinction needed to be made. Like, I let them in. And then they turn around and use the stuff that I told them to make jokes.
Ugh.
Like, cool, I trusted you. I don't tell people. I don't talk about. And like, you're gonna turn around and go, ha ha ha, this is great material, I'm gonna use it against you.
Ugh.
So cool. Thank you for showing me that I really shouldn't talk to people. It's great. I appreciate that. You're a gem.
That makes me so mad.
And like, so I did the one thing that you keep telling me not to do, that I keep telling you it's probably gonna happen. And I closed myself off. 100%. And why won't you let me tile this? Thank you. And I close myself off every time, because every time I'm shown, like, if I try to start to let somebody in, it's not worth it. So why am I going to keep trying to do something that's not worth it? The like technical definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at, is I do the same thing and I expect someone to, in a non-friend way, show that they actually care, and they don't really. And then the next thing I know is we're not even like really chatting anymore. So there goes not only that person I decided to have hope for, and maybe something can come of it. So I lost that. But now you took such a step back that now I lost somebody that I felt comfortable talking to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's not just the one loss, it's the double whammy. But you're still going to sit there and say, like, I'm a good person and I'm awesome or amazing, or insert whatever, like, positive fucking adjective here. But you don't act like it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I do now? I do nothing. Because there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
and then I don't talk about it because nobody actually genuinely cares except for maybe one or two people. But then I feel like every time I like talk about it, I'm either generating sympathy I don't want, or I'm bringing them down. And so now it's another round of let me just shut myself down.
Yeah.
And there's no middle ground. There's no like balancing act.
That's like I don't know, because I get the shutting down and, talking about how you feel and getting it shut down, because it's a weird thing to explain how I like grew up, but like Dad's daughter of Mr. Tough Guy. Like he was, that's just how he was, how he carries himself. He will tell everybody in the world that that's who he is. And I was his, this is gonna sound weird, but like Mr. Tough Girl, like
yeah.
My brother was my mom. Like my mom is shy, she is quiet, even though she's also so similar to me, where we're just like my humor comes from my mom, and the way I talk, the way I speak, all of that. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of my dad, the angry part of me, I'm not as angry as, when I was a kid, I was a very angry kid because I watched my dad be my dad. My dad was like, I was never like him. I was not stood up for what I thought was right. And yeah, you fucking whatever, cursing a storm when I'm like 6 years old.
Enter verbal abuse here.
Yeah. I was the that's not okay. Come down the stairs, I don't care. My dad's massive, right? Like he's 6 something and he's just like a big guy. And my mom always tells me, like she remembers me being like fucking 5, 6, 8, whatever age it was, coming down the stairs, and in my dad's face, who was my doors, he's punched holes in every walls, and my little ass didn't give a shit, and I would yell back at him, and my mom would say like, he'd be screaming, beat red, and I would just go, I don't care. And that's how I would say, like, she's like, you would stand in there and just say, I don't care, as he's screaming. And that's how I was kind of raised, which is like, the way I am now really affects me, because I used to be, I don't care. Like, you want to shit talk me? Or hey, you want to shit talk my friends? Shit talk me, I can take it.
Right.
And now I'm at a point where it's like, I've been so shit on for myself, and I have fought every friend's battles, friends who have no problem leaving me, that I got to the point of like, I don't have that left in me.
Mm-hmm.
And now I am emotional, I get sad, I get affected by things, and it messes with my brain. And I have this thing of like, I was always called dramatic as a kid. Always called dramatic.
Yeah, no, been there, done that.
Yeah. So like reacting to your feelings and acting that sort of way, what are you gonna feel? Dramatic, because your feelings were dramatic as a kid. At least like for me, like that's how it was. Your feelings were dramatic. If you felt something, you were dramatic. And it's why I always apologize. Like I just had this situation today talking to one of my friends. I'm talking about a situation, and for one, I've never felt like I've lost my mind more in a situation. Well, okay, and it's not in like a horribly negative way, but like my brain is fighting itself really, really hard, and I've never had it fight so hard. So I feel that like my emotion being so strong in that sort of way is coming off dramatic, and I'm apologizing to him like, God, I'm sorry, and he's like, stop saying sorry. I'm like, but like you don't get, like I am not like this, and I'm seeing myself not act like I normally do, and it's making it seem like I am being dramatic because I've never seen myself like this, so it's gonna feel dramatic, and I just keep apologizing for it. And I've never had people tell me like, no, like I mean this, you are not gonna annoy me, you are not gonna do this, I enjoy like I've never ever had somebody do that before. And yeah. I have, a handful of you now that do that, and I always say like I'm never gonna think you guys are gonna get like how much I appreciate that, because you can tell, but also like you can only tell so much because you're not me, it has meant, oh my god, it just feels like you guys like changed my life, which is so dramatic sounding, but I'm not even kidding with you. Like to have friends that actually sit there and say, like, hey, like you and I care about you, as sad as that sounds,
Right.
I've never heard that in my life. Been alive for almost 24 years. Never, not once, heard somebody tell me that. I have only ever heard that no matter how much I give, it's not going to be enough. I have been told I'm a piece of shit. I'm a bad friend, even though I'm there for everybody every second. And the second I can't, I'm a literal piece of garbage to them. I've been dropped like I meant absolutely nothing to people I've known for 15 plus years. So at a certain point, like, when these people, like you guys, are treating me the way you're treating me, it is like fucking God just came down here and was like, hey, this is exactly what you've never had, so now we're gonna overwhelm you with like fucking 10 of them, and it feels weird. And it's the same thing with relationship stuff, and, you know, I guess current things of being talked to nicely, or seeing, I guess, beauty in somebody that you've never really been able to see before. And that's scary, because if I've loved and I've liked the way I have before with these people who are assholes and pieces of shit, it's like, what the fuck am I gonna be like, man, to a person who is like a beautiful person? And I've never said that about a guy in my life, that someone is just like beautiful, but like that's how I describe them, you know? And it is scary to be like, hey, maybe I could be treated right for once in my life, but at the same time, you don't want to get your, like we were talking about this, you know, you don't want to get yourself excited, because there's always that, like, I've never been this person. Why am I going to be the person this time?
Or in my case, like, there's no probability of that happening.
Okay, let's not say no probability. No, let's not. We're not gonna do it.
That's fine. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. I can tell.
Well, I'll never. I know you can say it to you, but I'm never gonna think that about you, and I'm always gonna try to tell you, But like, obviously, you know how I see you and how, like, I talk to you and how you mean to me. So it's hard to say like, oh yeah, Pango, that's not gonna happen. Like, I'm never gonna say that. But it's no, I still do get you, though, with the whole, you are amazing, you are this, but you're not enough, because the last one, I mean, after he came back, you know, he told me, how did I meet somebody like you? How are you so amazing? How are you so this?
How did I get so lucky? How did I? Oh my God. I'm so tired of hearing it. I really am. It's 'cause,
exactly.
Like, you treated me like dog water, to use Father Dart's favorite fucking term, it feels like. Like
Shout
dog.
out to Dart.
Like dog. No, but okay, but no, really, like dog, for real. Like, golly.
Yeah. Golly. These fucking people, man.
But like, even talking to you beforehand, like, I had to literally, and I know you caught on to it and you didn't acknowledge it, because I know you and you're a sweetheart like that. But it was those moments, like, we were talking about it and I had to kind of stop, because I could feel myself getting emotional about it. Yeah. And I had to stop, because it's like, how do you, after you've heard this like your whole life, because like you, I was always told like I was a burden, I was a waste of space, I was a waste of money, I was never going to amount to anybody, nobody was ever going to love me, I wasn't worthy or deserving of anybody's love. And every relationship that I have had has just further proven those points. And I had to like literally sit there and think about it, and I was like, how do you change your perception of that? Because the actual answer is you don't. Mm-hmm. You can have 500,000 people, to over exaggerate. Yeah, you can have 500,000 people telling you the complete opposite. But because these situations keep occurring, it's like it reinforces the ideas that were essentially beaten into you. verbally beaten into you. And like, how do you like how do you deal with that? Because have tried everything, it feels like, and nothing changes. It still happens. And then you start thinking, oh, well, there's just something wrong with me then. Because I know you've heard me say that quite a few times over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What is it about me? Because clearly, this keeps happening. And it's not like you're going towards like the same, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they've all been vastly different. So it's not like type or, that's just that. It's literally if all of these different types of guys are saying the same thing or doing the same thing, then what is it about me that's making this be a reoccurring theme in my life? And I just don't get it, man.
Yeah.
All it does is make you want to
give up. Yeah.
Which, yeah, you know where I'm at.
I know. And that's where, like, I know, like, currently, before we started this, we were talking about, like, kind of touching into, like, the current situation more. And it's very weird because, like, we were in a similar spot. And then it's, like, it's a weird spot where, like, changed, but at the same time, like, because, like, you're going through a thing, and then the thing that I'm going through is obviously different, but it's, like, it's just a weird thing of just your brain doing your brain thing, so I can still talk to you about it because you still get it. Like, even if our situations, even if they're different, you still get it because, like, we were talking about this before, and I didn't understand this because I've never seen it before, but my current thing is, I didn't realize be like this, I guess, of I've driven myself insane plenty of times, but it's normally a negative,
facts.
With the last guy, I was driving myself insane of what ifs, and I was scared because I wasn't sure if I believed him. And fucking stupid ass me actually did, and look what he did. But like, I was more reasonable to think that then. And now this time around, well, I was a little fucked up then too. But
at the same breath, sorry. You were also this time around more willing to actually listen to those around you that you knew genuinely cared about you.
Yeah. And I'm trying to.
You weren't so blindsided situation aspect.
Like, that's exactly what it was. I look back at the first guy that acted like he wanted me or saw me as like, oh my god. First guy. So I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing. It's always what I want to feel like. I've always wanted to be able to be me and whatever. And I looked past a lot of the things because I'm like, everybody's fucked up in some way. So I tried my best. And I think, before I've always had doubts of as a person. And I still dated them because I tried to look past it, tried to get inside and understand. And by that time, I'm already there where I found something about them I liked and I took it and ran with it. In this situation, it's literally like, I don't want to sound like a fucking freak.
You're not a freak. First off,
it's just like
everything you're not used to, all over again.
Well, it's not even like I'm at a point where this person is like, yes, I want you, so like I'm not at that right now. It's just seeing them as a person and seeing, like, I don't question anything. Like, I do not question a singular thing that is said from this boy's mouth. Nothing. And that is kind of where it's a little freaky of like, now I'm overthinking and I'm like, what the fuck are you overthinking? Well, I'm overthinking how I was treated before, how I was fooled before, and the last thing I want is to look like a fool like the last one made me feel. They've all made me feel like fools. That last guy made me look like a fucking idiot because, for any sort of context to anybody, I was never the person that thought I would ever meet somebody online. I thought it was fucking weird, and that's just me being me. I just thought it was strange, the concept of it. And I met this kid that I thought was like, oh my god. And I thought, you know what, I would go through anything to be with this person, and I had to explain to my family, who thought, you know, it was kind of weird. I'm not sure if they agreed with it. I had to explain to them, like, why this was different this time around. And I made them all believe me, just to have him kill me, literally. And, well, I guess not literally, but he really bad. And that's the point where my family has never seen me like that. I've never had my mom not give me shit for so long, because she was like, she's fucked up. And the fact that he made me look like that made me feel like that. And now I'm in a position of, like, not it happening again, but the whole, like, convincing people of a thing that they're not sure about and then potentially a fucking idiot. That's kind of a big thing that scares me right now, too, is just the way that made me feel. That's, like, my biggest thing, is looking like an idiot. And
well, and that's why with my situation, I took a step back, because I didn't want to continue to make myself look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And like I said, I went from having another person I was comfortable talking to not having that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I do think at a certain point you can and you will with that person, but
yeah, but by that point, am I gonna want it?
Yeah, that's
because unfortunately, once I get into that, well, fuck it kind of mentality, like, I usually don't put in a lot of effort, because you're not showing me any effort at all, not even to, like, say hello, kind of thing.
That's true.
And, like, so why am I going to put in that kind of effort when I know A, it won't be reciprocated, because it never fucking is, and I'm always the one that does the let me put 100% into this to get 5% back? Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I've also just never kind of, I guess, I just never had this situation of the brain being an asshole, but there's kind of no reason to be an asshole, because, like, it's someone who is, and this also sounds like shit. I was telling Pang about this earlier, but my ex, like the one of 3.5 years, whatever it was. Now, I had a lot of issues with him. He had so many issues, and I wanted to look past them. I wanted to understand him, all of that type of stuff. And that's why I was with him, I guess, for that long. But I remember my friend asked me, you know, like maybe 2 years in or so, what do you love about it? Because I was having issues. I mean, first fucking couple months of being with him, I was having issues with him. And she asked me that question of, you know, what do you love about him? And I couldn't really think of anything. Because with him, he was better than the last. And that's what sold me. So stupid. I know. Nobody yell at me too bad. I understand. But that's really what it was. Is he had a quality of him. I love a goofball, and he could be that. He really wasn't, but he had that quality of, like, he can make a joke. He can, you know, do this. He can. Yeah. So I got hooked on that, because the last one couldn't. The last one was just like my dad. And That's kind of what I latched onto with him. But then with this one, this time around, I was asked what I like about them. And I apparently, even though I do remember, I started like giggling. And my best friend who I was talking to about this, she was like, that's all you gotta say. Like, she's known me, I've known her since I was 8 years old. She told me she has never, ever, ever, ever heard me like that before. And as much as that was like, cringe, like, ew, who are you type thing.
Right.
It was kind of like nice to hear her say that. And she just kept asking me too, like, so what do you like? So what do you like? Even though like that was enough for her to know that it was different, but like it's so cringe, but like I always just keep saying like I've never seen a guy as like just like a beautiful person, and that's all I can like. I mean, I can give you a list. We're not gonna do that here, but like it's just the fact that I see him like that, and I said that to her, and she was like, "Oh, that's different." I'm like, "Yeah." And then that fear of like, there's not been that confirmation of yes, I would like this too. So like me saying that immediately, like just saying this on here, I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, don't say that, because then what? You rewatch this in a couple days after they just said, I don't like you like that, and now I look like a fucking dipshit. Like,
that would be the story of my life. I say that phrase a lot, but like, especially recently, like, I mean, you saw me, what, 5 days ago in comparison to today?
Yes, yeah.
And it was like a complete 180. We went from what the fuck happened to us?
Yeah, us being cheesy.
Us being totally cheesy. Me actually having a fucking smile on my face that I didn't have to pretend was there or force was there.
Yeah.
To now waking up and going, do I have the energy to do this? Alright, so we are going to cut this off for now. Don't worry. If you're invested, there's a part 2 coming. Just don't trip, because honestly, I've been working on this one wall for 30 minutes, and I know y'all have been seeing me work on this one wall for 30 minutes. So we are going to at least finish this one house through our therapy sessions.
Yeah.
Now, whether we do it all relatively close together or it takes us months, it's dependent. It's fine.
Well, this fucking outro just watched me build a wall and break it down. So.
Yeah, dude. I've been doing that for 30 minutes.
I painted both sides of this wall, and I realized, wait, do I need to break? Okay, look, see, this is why we need a part 2, because we're gonna talk more, and we're gonna contemplate shit more.
Yeah, exactly. So stick around. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll catch you on the couch next week.
Yeah.
There's no judgment here in Wifey'S mental care. There's no judgment here in Wifey's mental care.